Hi guys, wife's going to an all-girls party tonight and they asked me to make some of my signature hot wings. So tonight I'll be making mango hot wings. I make them differently every time. One common thing is they're always hot, so they'll definitely be crying. To start off, we need to cut our wings in half. So what's the most important ingredient in hot wings? Not chili, not paprika, garlic, lots of garlic. So most recipes call for something like 2 cloves of garlic per half pound of meat. Here we have something like 6.5 pounds. I'll be using 4 but not cloves whole garlic heads. And these come from a local garden from one of the girls that's going to the party. Really potent stuff. The heads are not too large, but with a lot of fragrance, a lot of spice. Really, really good stuff. So, how to get that nice and crispy skin and which will be not soggy? Magical ingredient, cream of tartar. So we use about 2 tablespoons, which we need to thoroughly mix with the meat. So that's something like half a handful. Mix it in, rub it in, and then distribute the chicken wing so nothing's filtering up too high so it doesn't get burnt. And then we place this in the oven at 220, so that's 428 Fahrenheit for something like an hour. Mixing thoroughly once every 10-15 minutes to get everything evenly baked. So we can now move to the top view video. Hopefully not too much glare from my forehead. Open up our Messier cuisine. Grab a spoon. And we can start off with 1 Echo lemon, so pesticide free. And then some powdered ginger. So you can of course use some fresh ginger since we'll be blending this, but I'll just add a heaping tablespoon of ginger here. Okay. Then a tablespoon of good quality sea salt. A tablespoon of spicy smoked paprika powder. You can see the recipe is quite easy. Tablespoon of basically everything. Well, this is actually intuitive cuisine. I'm creating this recipe on the go, trying to be creative. Look at this. Okay. Now, a huge heap of garlic. Then some chipotle peppers, only half of a can. That's because I ate the other half earlier. And now some real fire devil sauce. One of the girls that's going to the party bought this as a present for me something like 2 years ago in TK Maxx. And since it's so spicy, this is how much is still left. Well, it's not actually that much spicy. Quite aromatic, quite good taste. Although with kids in the house, can't eat such spicy foods every day. So really, really small usage. I'll be putting 4 tablespoons here. I'll be merciful, so won't make it as spicy as I could. Now some mango puree. I have fresh mangoes, but this one already includes some sugar. It's really sweet. Of course, later on we'll be adding some honey to the mix. Now, let's just get this can opened. Come on. Okay. And as I said, we'll add maybe something like a cup of fresh honey. Take a look at this. Is that a cup? Maybe a bit less than a cup. Well, it doesn't really matter. We'll be trying this sauce later on. And I guess we'll need to add some sweetness anyways. Now the very important ingredient, some apple cider. Not cider, but vinegar. My mom made this for me for losing weight, so drinking a tablespoon of that every morning. As you can see, our results are not that impressive, although some people swear this actually works. So we can lock up our Messier Cuisine blender. I've been keeping time. That was something like 15 seconds. So we blended everything to a fine pulp. But now, of course, need to do a quick taste test. Smells nice. Okay, so now why didn't we use a standard blender? We'll use the actual benefit of a MSC Cuisine thermal cooker, mixing and heating at the same time, so we don't have to stand next to the pot mixing our sauce for it to reduce. We just let it run by itself, 130 degrees for the time, same as the remaining time for the chicken wings to pre-cook, and mixing at the maximum speed available at this temperature as seen here. Okay, so about half an hour has passed, and we'll do another taste test since the taste profile probably changed a bit. Let's grab a bit on the spoon. Okay, so nice and hot and spicy, but we could use a bit of sweetness. So just add some sugar this time instead of honey. And I would say something like 4 or 5 tablespoons. Of course, I've got a measurement in my eyes, so that's gonna be about it. And now we can continue mixing and heating, as mentioned, for about the same time as it takes for the wings to pre-cook, so a total of about 1 hour. Okay, so the sauce should be ready. Well, actually, it's not a sauce. I'm repeating sauce, but it's actually a glaze we'll be placing on the pre-cooked wings and cooking them again. So let's rearrange our work surface a bit so we have room to work. Okay. Put this away, and we'll use the cutting board so as not to damage the tabletop from the hot pan. So try not to burn myself. Just take a look at these, nice and crispy. Okay, so let's remove the other pan from the oven so it cools down. Since we don't want the things to stick together, we need to spread them out onto 2 baking sheets. So we have one prepared earlier, covered with parchment paper. Okay, and now we can pour our glaze over the pre-cooked wings. Get over easily. We'll also mix these thoroughly. Okay, got everything out. And to get some more fragrance, aroma, taste, we'll use some freshly ground pepper. Also, I use quite a lot of pepper in my recipes. Okay. Okay, let's add it. Let's prepare some sesame seed. I use dark sesame seed, although lighter could be better, just ran out of it. Just gotta mix these a bit to get them evenly covered, although you need to do it carefully. Since they're pre-cooked, you don't want them to fall apart. The movie speed it up so it looks like I'm quite violent, but actually taking care not to break any. And now we can transfer them to the other sheet, making sure they're nicely evenly spaced, not touching each other. And this should be the last one, or actually one more. Let's put it between here. And we can sprinkle everything with sesame seed, which will also give us this nice oriental aroma. Of course, when making such a large batch, it's always good to add some final touch and make at least 2 different types to add some variety. So now that's all covered. Take a look at these. We pop them in the oven for about half an hour up to 20 degrees. And for the second sheet, of course, we cover it also with parchment paper. Secure it in the corners with some wings so the paper doesn't roll up. distribute the remaining wings. Okay, and for a change we'll use some Italian spice, which is dried tomatoes, garlic flakes, and some oregano powder. Also nicely, evenly spread it over our wings. Not too much since it's very aromatic. And we can pop this in the oven also for half an hour, 220 degrees, flipping midway so they cook evenly on both sides. As for remaining sauce, we pour down into a jar. You can use it later as a dip for something that wants their food more spicy, but we'll use it for something else. And as the French say, voila, our hot wings are ready. So the hot wings for a party are ready. We just need to transfer them to the other, what do you call it, that dish, pan. As for the dinner for kids, I got this beautiful duck. Theoretically, I went to buy some chicken wings, but seeing how many beautiful products they have, also including breads and some cold cuts, I decided to get a duck. So we'll just use some of this leftover sauce, put a thin layer on top so it's not too spicy for kids. Add 2 pitted apples inside, pop it in the oven for, I think with this size, maybe 2.5 hours. Well, we'll observe how it's turning out at 220 degrees Celsius, so Americans need to convert, and dinner will be ready. Okay, so now for the duck. As you see, I'm trying to get the inside of the apple pitted, trying not to cut myself and also trying not to break the apple into separate pieces, just to stuff the whole 2 apples inside the duck. Although looking how large these are, it might be a bit of a problem. So we'll see in a second. Just finish off and pushing out the remaining seeds. And now a moment of truth. I think it won't fit. Exactly, doesn't even go halfway in. So after all this trouble getting the pit out, we need to cut this into quarters anyways. Let's stuff this in. And I can already see that the other apple won't fit, just I guess only half of it. The good thing is this half will fit perfectly, so we won't have to sew or use toothpicks to secure the skin. It should hold by itself. Okay. So now we can reuse our glaze, which you use for the hot wings. Just pour a bit on top and nicely rub it in. But I have a really thin layer, so it doesn't turn out too spicy. So the kids won't complain. Try to get it under the wings, and the neck. And we place the duck for baking with the top part facing upwards. And we also coat the neck. And when baking, I think that during those 2 hours we should turn this at least twice to get this evenly cooked throughout, and also for the fat to burn out. We cover this up and we pop it in the oven for one earlier mentioned 2.5 hours. And now for the final effect. Flipping the duck over in the meantime, I notice it's becoming quite done. So the total time was something 1 hour 45 minutes. Look at this beautiful effect. And the smell is purely amazing. So that's it for today. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and see you again soon.